It's semifinals time. It's the Indian juggernaut taking on the Black Caps. Tuesday, July 9th, 2019 is the big day, the semifinals day as the Cricket World Cup of 2019 reaches its business end. And guess what? It's not even the semifinals that did a lot of talking, but it was the games before that. And not an India game. Actually, the game between South Africa and Australia. Most of India was more concerned about the result from that game and not the game between India and Sri Lanka. And the results from both the games went India's way. And now everybody started celebrating. Even as an Indian cricket fan, even myself, my heart went out to that logic and we were like, yo, we're going to see an India versus Australia final at Lord's on the 14th of July. Then suddenly what happened was pretty interesting. The analyst in me woke up. My brain started knocking at my heart and said, dude, you need to hold on to your horses. Sure, India are the heavy favorites, but you can't really count the Black Caps out. I'm right now in Tampa, Florida, and for all those who followed me and the International Cricket Network ICN360, firstly, thank you for that. But you know, it's very bright here. It's sunny. It's the sunshine state, right? 360 odd days of sunlight, and everything is nice, bright, the sun beating down, sometimes me sweating as well, which is not too cool, but that's what it is. But I checked, but today it's different. It's overcast, it's damp, and it's drizzling. You can see the drizzle because I'm in the shade, but it's there, trust me. This morning I checked the weather in Manchester for Tuesday, July 9th. And guess what? 40% chance of rain. And wait, before you start coming out for my throat, I'm not saying the game will be washed out. No, it's not going to be. It's highly unlikely. But guess what? Whenever it's damp and overcast, New Zealand is a different team. And one doesn't need to go far back into the past to know that or check back on that. A month back, warm-up game against the very same opponents, India. What happened? Of course, everybody can debate that Virat Kohli chose to bat first in conditions which suited bowling, and then the Kiwi bowlers just ripped through the decorated batting lineup of India. That's fine. But you know what's the truth? That Trent Bolt, along with his teammates, actually ripped through the Indian batting lineup. And I'm not saying that's going to happen in Manchester, but all I'm saying is it is still a possibility, and it's not advisable and a good idea to be complacent and count the Black Caps out. Now, like all the experts say, let's keep the weather aside and come straight to the point. Let's talk cricket. On purely cricketing terms and based on cricketing analysis and statistics, India are surely the heavy favorites. They are a team who look strong, who look confident, having lost just one game, that too against the host England, in situations which favored England. Otherwise, India have been clinical. They hardly have to even sweat out, barring a couple of games, one against Afghanistan and West Indies, where it was a little more difficult. And there's one common trend that we've seen. The games that India have kind of struggled or taken till the end to win it, it's when their openers haven't worked. Opening is a big part or a big factor in this World Cup, along with the toss. I'll come to the toss later. Check out the four teams that you have. India, Australia, and England. These three teams have an opening combination which has been mighty successful. Be it the Rohit Sharma, KL Rahul, or the Rohit Sharma, Shikhar Dhawan before he was injured. For India, Finch and Warner for Australia. And England, Johnny Bairstow and Jason Roy. Remember, when Jason Roy wasn't there and James Wynne had to play a couple of games, England lost those two games. That proves how important it is to get a good start. New Zealand, on the other hand, they haven't had the best of the starts. It's their number 3, 4, 5, 6 who have won the games for them. Jimmy Neesham has been a revelation, probably the best all-rounder after Shakib Al Hasan ever since the start of 2019. His numbers have been prolific, just out of this world if you look at them. So for New Zealand, what's going to be important is to see if Guptill and Munro or Nichols, whoever they play in the top two, to give them a solid start. For India, they want to do the same thing. First 10 overs, 30, 35 runs, 2 wickets down, they got New Zealand on the back foot. But here again comes the toss. Usually the trend has been win the toss, bat first, put the total on the board. Chasing has been difficult. But now with the rain around, I don't know how much rain it's going to be. I don't know how overcast it's going to be. The toss and the decision taken by the captain might be different. And that's why I feel the logic that I gave to a lot of people back during the warm-up game when they lashed out at Virat Kohli, why did he choose to bat and lower the confidence of his batting? I told them, I think Virat Kohli and the Indian team management, they foresee that at some point in the tournament, there might be a game or two where they might get conditions which they don't really like to bat in. And at that time, well, the technique and everything can be on the ground, but it's the head that counts for more. And that's what he wanted, to put them into uncomfortable situations, which might help them later. So I think this is going to be a good fit for India. They look favorites. Let's see what happens with the weather. But purely on cricketing terms, India should make the cut. Any changes? Well, I think they might still drop Kuldeep Yadav, bring in Yuzvendra Chahal and play Jadeja in place of Kuldeep. But now again, the question is, what about the third seamer? Who do you play? Hardik Pandya has been doing phenomenal. You have Bhuvaneshwar Kumar and Bumrah. Do you get Shami back? That's a bit of a question answer there, but I think India are in a safe place. They got a lot of options. Whichever they choose from, all of them are in good form. But I think Jadeja will definitely make the cut because the pitches have been going slower. And so you need some bowlers who have speed in their air and in their action and in their bowling, rather than people who want speed from the pitch like Kuldeep Yadav is, and hence is easier to play. So let's see what happens. For New Zealand, I think they'll stick to the same team, but they'll hope that their openers do well. Let's hope the weather stays bright and unlike the overcast condition here. But until next time, this is your host Yash Khandor for the International Cricket Network ICN 360, signing off. You guys, I'll see you guys on the other side once the game is done. And let me tell you, not as an analyst, but as a fan, I'm pretty sure India is going to win this one. See you on the other side. Bye for now and take care.